Today we are going to replace the input shaft seal on this Fiat 124 Spider 2000 transmission, and I bought a gasket set that has all the seals. The front seals could be two different sizes, that's why the gasket set has two of the smaller seals, and then the larger seal is the rear seal. First we are going to remove the throwout bearing, and we simply need to pull the lever toward the driver's side. And it unhooks here from the pivot bolt, and then we can pull out the bearing and the fork. Next, let's undo all the bolts and nuts. There is one 30mm nut, and here it's double knotted. Normally it's not. And I will use an impact wrench to remove the 17mm bolts. There is 6 of them. Of course, it can be done by hand as well. And now we just pull the bell housing off. It's good to support the front of the transmission. And there is this big washer between the bell housing and the front input shaft bearing, and let's observe the orientation of this. It has to go back the same way it came out. Next we have to remove the seal holder from the bell housing, and it just simply gets knocked out. So get a soft hammer or mallet and knock it out. Here's the seal holder, and there is an O-ring on the front side, and the seal is pressed on the back side. And it's this outer diameter here where there are two different possibilities, and we just have to check which one we have against the two that are in the gasket set. We're going to remove the old seal. The vise is just barely holding this. This is not tight at all. It's just so it holds it so it doesn't come out. And then with a crowbar, simply lift out the old seal. Now we can clean out all the gunk. And now it's time to check which one of the two seals fits. And I mean, there is barely a difference between the two at all. One is just less than a millimeter larger than the other. And this is the larger one. And it does not look like it would press in, it's too big. This is the smaller one. And yep, looks like it just about fits in there. I'm going to start pressing on this way. That way we can be sure it starts straight, and then I'm going to need a larger socket once it starts. This is how far it got pushed in with the vise, and now I'm going to need a socket. This is a 1.5 inch socket, and that looks to be about the right size. When we do this, we want to be sure that the seal is pressed in the same distance, as in evenly all the way around. First, I'm going to put the O-ring, the new O-ring, on the seal holder, just to be sure it's not forgotten about. And then I will clean all the gunk of the gearbox, and then remove the gasket. Now we are going to put the seal holder back in the bell housing, and it should just push in fairly easily. And then we can tap it in the rest of the way. And now we are ready to reassemble everything. Let's not forget to put our washer back on, and then our gasket. Before putting the gasket on, I'm going to use some aviation Forma gasket or Permatex, just because this gasket would be such a pain in the ass if it leaked. So I wanna make sure that it doesn't. We don't need to put very much on, more like hardly anything at all. And now let's put the gasket on. And now as I slide the bell housing on, I'm going to put the edge of the washer in here, and then as it cinches up, the washer will just lay flat in here. And now we put the nut and the bolts back. First the 30mm nut, and that will help hold everything in place. We are going to put back the fork and the throwout bearing, and on this surface that the throwout bearing rides on, we're going to put a little grease, but just the tiniest amount, just so the surface is maybe a little bit wet with grease. So it's just not metal to metal, but we don't want the grease getting on the clutch, so it just has to be the smallest amount. And same thing here on these two knobs that push on the fork, push on the bearing, just the tiniest amount of grease. And so we push the bearing back, and then the two knobs have to go around the bearing while the spring here snaps in, and we already have some grease on there.